Welcome to the Hana Shows, the podcast where we would talk about career advice. Do you wonder sometimes how to get the perfect job or how to advance in your career? I'm Hannah. I'll be your host in this podcast, and these are the topics we'll talk about. You will learn how to send the best resume, how to be answering questions during the interviews, and more importantly, how to apply to the right jobs. The first time I started applying for jobs was after I graduated from college. So I was really confident and I was applying everywhere, expecting replies from all the companies. And then, unfortunately, this is not how it went. And I started questioning myself like, what went wrong? What did I do? What are other people doing? Why are they succeeding and I'm not? So, to give you a little bit more details about my background, I graduated as a mining engineer from the Polytechnical School in Algiers. And then I did a master degree in Spain in energy technology. So, originally, I wasn't planning to do a master's, but it was mainly because I didn't find a job. And I was thinking maybe this could help me apply and get hired. This is not the best decision. So, if you're not planning to continue to study, you shouldn't do it just for the purpose of applying for a job because you might be doing something wrong and it could be easier to fix it than spending 2 additional years in school. I started looking and reading articles and trying to figure out where it went wrong. And that's where our first episode will be about how to find a job. And then we will talk about how to apply, how to craft the best resume, and how to answer the questions during the interview if they call you, and finally, how to accept the offer and maybe even negotiate the salary. So when I started, I was just applying online, like everyone else. I'm assuming the job boards now are online. They're not on the newspapers like they used to be. So the first place you will go to is Google and type some titles, job, whatever, and then see what's coming up and apply. I realized after applying to multiple of jobs that first of all, most of the jobs you find online contribute only to maybe 20% of what exists in the market, and that 80% of the rest of the jobs are in the hidden market. What does it mean? So if you see a post online, you might apply, yes, but a lot of other people are applying. The pool of applicants is huge. So you're competing against many other candidates, probably with the same qualifications or even higher. What we should do instead, and what is maybe more efficient and what worked for me, is applying, yes, but then leveraging your network. What does it mean? So, being in contact with the people you know and talking to them. Build your network means know people in your profession that work in certain companies. So they could be people that you met in college. They could be people that you're in contact with through LinkedIn, and they will give you inside information. Because you have to know that not all the companies are posting directly the jobs when they need it. So a person that is working in the company has that inside information. They could tell you, well, you know what, my colleague is leaving next month. She's maybe getting married or someone else is retiring. There is a job opening that will be open sometime soon, but the job offering doesn't exist formally yet. So you have an advance over other people that are looking for the same job. Now, the first information you get is very valuable because you know that is something you probably can do, and you can already start leveraging the contacts they have in the company to position yourself. Now, after the job is really, in fact, vacant, that manager will start looking for someone formally. So they will send the request internally in their organization. They will wait for a few months to get it approved. And then once it's approved, it will show on their website. By that time, maybe they will have found someone that can fill in the position. So in reality, when you see that job application and you apply, maybe that company already had someone in mind and that someone came through the networking and recommendation. It doesn't mean they're it doesn't mean networking will make you have the job for sure, but you will be better positioned than others. So you still have to have the required competencies, of course, to get the job, but that knowledge will help you more than anything else. So the most important thing is leveraging your network. If you don't have a network, you should build it. How do we build a network? By creating connections with real people in a professional network like LinkedIn. So you would go on LinkedIn, and because you know the areas you're interested in and you know the industry you're interested in, you probably know which companies you would prefer to work in. So you would go on LinkedIn and start looking for people that work in these companies. But don't make the mistake of just adding them randomly, because what are the chances they will talk to you? Maybe you're just another random person, maybe you're annoying them. So what you should do when you send the invitation is to write a small paragraph saying, maybe it's someone that went to the same college. So you would tell them, oh, I realized that you went to my school. We specialize in the same thing. Or you should just try to find a meaningful connection, something that will make you talk to that person and make that person relate to what you're doing and want to engage in something with you. So you would send them that message, and the chances of them accepting your invitation will be way, way higher. After you send them the invitation and they accept you, you would start talking to them. But not just annoying them like, oh, I don't have a job, can you help me get into your company, but just without giving them any details. It doesn't really work. Usually, even I notice, even when I try to be nice to people, I don't know what to tell them. I don't know how to help them. So you should start talking to them and try to understand what the company is about and tell them. So, for example, if it's someone that started like you or that has the same interest, asking them, what do you do in your job? How is the company working? Like, how did you make it? What was your secret? Something that engages that person to make them tell you their story, for example, or to make a certain connection. Then you will be more likely to talk to them. So by the time you create that link, you will be able to consider them, I'm not going to say friends, but helpful connections, because they will answer your queries. And then when you apply and target people, it's okay to target, let's say, people in low positions in the company, because they also have access to the information, and people that are higher in the hierarchy. It's more difficult to talk to, let's say, managers, country managers, regional managers, because they're busy people. So that's why starting with lower position will help you get insight on the company more than, let's say, their big director. And then once you apply and find out about a position, you will try to find the email or the contact of the hiring manager. Why am I saying hiring manager? Because there is a difference between a recruiter and a hiring manager. The mistake I see all the time is people targeting recruiters only. The recruiter is either just a recruiter in title or working in HR, human resources, and their job is usually to filter the resumes. So they're not directly in charge of hiring you. They just, let's say, out of 100 resumes they receive, they would select the people that would fit the description. But they don't know the details of the jobs. They don't know what you will do exactly. So the hiring manager is the person that you will report to directly. And that will be the person that will take the final decision in either hiring you or not. So let's say once all the resumes get to the recruiters and they filter them, they will probably get, let's say, to 10 resumes, maybe 5, that fit the description of the job. They will then send them to the hiring manager because that person doesn't have time to go through all the profiles. Once they get to the hiring manager, they will go through the selection and decide which one is the best candidate. So that's where, if you knew that the position was open and you had connection, you would have been able to send your resume directly to the hiring manager. And that would have saved you all the previous steps. Once you get to the final pool of applicants, you're already competing against less people, and it depends on usually your qualifications. But if you got to that stage, it means you have the qualifications. So now what will distinguish you from other people? Well, simply not only your profile, but your personality. Because you have to stand out and you have to show that you really know the company and you know what you're talking about. So when they see standard resume that someone else sends to everyone with the same details, they can tell the difference compared to if your resume has the details that your connection told you about. So they told you, in our company, we value this, we value that. So this is something you will showcase in your profile, and it will make you a better candidate and will make you stand out compared to the others. What is also really important when I say personality is if you're likable. So if you get to the point where they call you for an interview, you have to keep in mind that it's not really about your qualifications, because if they called you, they know that you have them, and it's more to see if you're likable. So by that, I mean if you're someone they will want to work with, because you will spend your probably full day with that team of people. And even if you're the best and you have the best experience, the best everything, if they see that you're boring or you're annoying or maybe you're rude to them, I don't think they will want to hire you, because you will be part of the team. So you will have to show your best personality, and you will have to know the mentality of the people in the company, what they're looking for to look like a good fit. So that's why I'll come back to the networking and say this is the first and the most important thing. Either when we're talking about where to apply and how to apply and even how to get the job. Everything starts with that networking, even the job application and the job search. So I'm not saying don't look for a job on internet, don't look for a job in Google on all the websites. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to increase your chances of getting the job you want, you have to have a broad vision. And you have to know that the job market is not limited to what you see online only. This is only, they estimate it to be 20%. This is nothing compared to what exists in the real job market. So think differently and try to stand out compared to the other applicants by crafting the best applications. And this is what we will talk about in future episodes. And by showing that you're interested, you're someone that really wants that job and you're willing to do anything it takes to get it, because you're passionate and you're bringing a lot of energy to the team. Now, if you're a fresh graduate just out of college, it's more challenging for you to find a job. I know. Compared to someone else that already has experience, it's a bit tricky, because you might think, well, I don't have anything to say, I don't have previous experience, I cannot tell them that I can do this, and it will be more challenging. Well, you have to know that entry-level positions exist for this reason, because they're targeting people that are just out of college. They don't expect you to have that experience. So what you need to do is to find your interest first and know what you can do, know your weak points, know your strength, and leverage that. What I mean by that is you have to know what you're capable of doing, and then you have to know that you can learn the rest. You can estimate what you can learn and what you cannot learn. So by looking at the job application, you will be able to realize, well, this is something I can do, this is not something I can do. Then, after applying, you should also think about branding. You should also think about marketing yourself as someone that is potentially going to be that person this company is looking for. You have to show that you have potentials and you know who you are. That's why we're saying branding, because you have to show that it's consistent across all the platforms. If they look at your LinkedIn profile or if they look at your resume, they have to be able to understand what you need and the type of job you can apply to. Because if it's too generic, they will think, well, this person is probably open to everything and they don't know what they're looking for. Why should I hire them? If you already have an industry in mind, if you already have a dream, you should pursue that dream. And that's what I had in mind at first. I wanted to get into oil and gas, and it took me time. It was not easy. I didn't get that job straight out of college. It took me 3 years. So, by telling you my first story, I wanted to get to an important point is that we can learn and we can evolve after failing in many attempts. It's okay. We're in a world that has access, where we have access to social media. We have to leverage that. We have also to think out of the box. We have to think in a modern way, not to be stuck in the traditional way of how to apply, what to do, how am I gonna get a job. And I think by listening to the experiences of other people, when we're also in contact with the right people through our networking, it will always sooner or later lead us to get our dream job. So, this podcast will have next episodes where we'll delve deeper in these topics. We'll talk about how to craft your perfect resume. We will talk about how to apply, how to approach the recruiter, what to send them, the steps to get to the interview, how to behave. And I will share also the rest of my stories, so my professional experience, the programs I'm involved in, and hopefully it will help you evolve in your career. So this was Hana Shows, and you can find me on my YouTube channel with the same name, Hana Shows. See you next week.